we are talking about. This is how ambitious leaders start their week. It's something that we can start doing right now. In essence, we want to expand what's possible for our lives. Here's a quick question that I have for us, okay? Before we even step into this week, I want you to pause and really ask yourself this very simple question. Who are you choosing to be in this moment? Who have you consciously decided to show up as you step into this week's opportunities? Because keep in mind, the results that you create are not dictated by your schedule or your agenda or your to-do list, but ultimately the results that you create, they're dictated by the standards that you set for your life. Standards of thought, standards of behavior, and ultimately what you do with your time. This is what largely dictates the outcomes that we experience. So keep in mind, high performers, family, aren't just lucky individuals. Like success does not just fall into their lap. You got to keep in mind that people don't stumble on opportunities. No, you position yourselves to take advantage of opportunities. So the question again is, who are you choosing to be in this moment? Very briefly, I want to have a conversation on how we can start showing up in a way that sets us up for success. Even as it's a short week due to the holiday, we still got goals to achieve and dreams to catch. So we have to be disciplined, we have to be intentional, and we have to be in alignment with the things that we're aiming to experience. So I got 4 points that I want to make, and I want you to really convert these points into some calls to action, so to speak, some actionable steps that you can take starting right now to assist you in expanding this week's possibilities. In fact, comment below if you will, please. Expand. Expand. Let that be like our motive right now. Let that be our intention as we step into this week. Become the type of person that can expand possibilities this week. And the question may be, Larry's saying, David, how do I do that? I'm glad you asked, Larry. Okay, here's the first step that you can start taking. Okay, number one is you want to use your thoughts constructively. Keep in mind, your thoughts will dictate how you feel, and how you feel will influence how you behave, and how you behave will ultimately shape the habits that you establish, and the habits that you establish will create the experiences and the environment that you live in. So therefore, if we want to create better environments, better outcomes, better results, let's reverse engineer that entire process and begin with what we are thinking. Leverage your thoughts constructively, okay? Think constructively. You want to make sure your thoughts are in alignment with who you're aiming to be, what you're aiming to experience, and the life that you're aiming to accomplish. As we talked about last week, check the replay. We discussed that in more detail. But ultimately, number one, use your thoughts constructively. Here's number two, leverage your time productively. You can always make more money. You can always acquire more assets. You can always purchase more materialistic things. But one thing I've learned is that you can't purchase more time. So therefore, if you're wasting your time, then you can't get that time back. But ambitious individuals, impactful leaders, they understand the value of their time. They understand that time is currency. And they make sure that they're doing things with their time that keep them in alignment with what they're aiming to experience. In other words, they're leveraging their time productively. For many of us, you're running in circles simply because you're doing things that do not move the needle towards success. You're wasting time, and ultimately, in some cases, we complain that we don't have enough time, but that's not really the challenge. The challenge is you're not leveraging your time productively. So if we want to really expand this week's possibilities and what we can accomplish, be very diligent and intentional with what you do with your time. That's number two. Number three is this, family. Not only do we want to leverage our thoughts constructively and then use our time productively, but we also want to make sure we're aligning our actions with our ambitions. Everybody comment below, align your actions with your ambitions. It's not enough just to have the desire for more, right? It's not enough just to think big and to dream on a higher level. But ultimately, you got to align what you do with what you want, right? Ultimately, again, your actions have to match your ambitions. Your level of effort has to match your expectations, so to speak, right? I come across so many individuals that have great ideas, but when it comes to execution, they lack in that department. But ultimately, if we want to create progress, if we want to expand possibilities, we have to be serious and committed with the things that we're aiming to accomplish and align our daily actions, our daily habits with the life that we're aiming to experience. Now, this may require you to make some level of sacrifice. This may require you to step outside of your comfort zone. This may require you to do things that aren't necessarily convenient, but they're absolutely necessary to create the results and the outcomes that you're aiming to experience. But if you are serious and dedicated to expanding possibilities this week, again, you got to align your actions with your ambitions. That's number 3. Here's the 4th one for free, family, and then we'll take it home. Most importantly, in order for you to expand this week's possibilities and what you can accomplish, lead with this intention. In every space that you enter, make it a goal of yours to add value to that space. Every single space that you enter, let that be your intention as you step into this week's opportunities. Everywhere you go, I want to make this space better. Every interaction that I have, I want to leave somebody feeling inspired because they experienced me. Let me bring it home, even to that person that does not like the job that you're currently working. It's very important that you continue to add value into that space because, hear me clearly, how you do anything will dictate how you do everything. If you develop the habit of really just giving 50% in one area of your life, then ultimately that will reflect in every other area. So therefore, if you create the intention and establish the daily goal that you're going to add value into every single space that you enter, when you develop that habit, ultimately, you're going to start producing excellence. And that will carry over into what you're aiming to build for your life. We've said a lot during today's conversation. I'll end it by saying this again, family. The 4 steps that you can start taking. Number 1, use your thoughts constructively. Number 2, leverage your time productively. Number 3, align your actions with your ambitions. And number 4, make it your personal responsibility to add value, into every single space that you enter. I'll close by saying this week, in fact, today, is full of amazing opportunities, and many of them have your name on them. Many of them you have full access to. Many of them you can seize if you position yourself to take advantage of that opportunity. If your mind is hijacked by your fears, your doubts, or disappointments, you're not using your thoughts constructively. You may miss your moment. If you're occupying your time with things that aren't in alignment with what you're aiming to accomplish and who you're aiming to become, you may miss your moment because you're not leveraging your time productively. If you don't align your actions with your ambitions, you're doing all types of things, but nothing really to move the needle towards success, you may miss that opportunity. And if you don't lead with the intention to add value into every single space that you enter, you never know. There may be a person that you come in contact with that can give you access to that opportunity that you've been working for, that you've been preparing for. But if you didn't bring your A game, you may miss your moment. So ultimately, we have to understand the opportunities are out there. That's not the question. The question is, will you be ready? Will you be prepared? The call to action for you is to be the type of person that expands possibilities this week, family. If you slid into this broadcast and I was unable to give you a shout out, be sure to comment below. And if in fact this is your first time, or maybe it's your first time in a long time, I welcome you and I want to shout you out as well. Put a number 1 in the chat and then place your first name afterward. Again, put a number 1 in the chat if you're new to the broadcast, and then put your first name afterward. I'll be sure to shout you out at some point in time before we do wrap up this broadcast. But I'm hoping that somebody somewhere did find some value from this discussion. If you were picking up what your boy D1 was putting down, put some fists up in the chat below to let me know that this resonated with you. You were inspired by what was said, and most importantly, you're going to take action on what we discussed. Shalia says, I'm grateful for life itself. I'm loving it. Push Through Adversity Sports. I'm loving that handle. Align Your Actions. Glad to have you tapped in live. Welcome to the broadcast. Larry says, deep message. Excellent. Grateful that it resonated with you, brother. Lead with intention. There we go. If everybody watching this on the replay, comment below #replay and let me know something that you took away from today's discussion and conversation. I do check the replay from time to time, so I will see your comments. So be sure to engage in this broadcast. I would truly appreciate it. Also, if we have yet to connect on other platforms, what are we waiting for? Connect with your boy. I'm at #1 Gibson, including Instagram as well as Facebook. I've referenced my YouTube channel. You can visit that channel and subscribe by going to youtube.com, /David Gibson. That's where all of my long form content is available. I've got short films and my documentary series. You can gain access to that on that platform. Also connect with me on LinkedIn. And then from time to time, individuals ask how they can contribute financially to the mission. Connect with me on Cash App. That's $D1 Gibson. Again, $D1 Gibson. And for more information on my coaching and speaking services, go to my website at elevationIsAMust.com. With that being said, family, let's wrap this thing up. Because again, you got dreams to catch and success to create. So we each got to get busy being great. But before we conclude, let me put this into your ear. Tie this into your memory bank as you're stepping into this week's opportunities in case you find yourself in a rough patch in life, Maybe you're going through a difficult season, challenging times, and your back is currently up against the wall. I want you to hear me clearly as I speak these words. Understand what you're going through, you're growing through. What you're experiencing is positioning you. This is not your breaking point. In fact, it is your making point. Everything that you're experiencing, everything that you're enduring is positioning you for something bigger, better, and greater. So don't give up. In fact, don't give in. I want you to give your all. Keep pushing, keep pressing, keep persevering. Because if you give up now, one thing is guaranteed, you'll never get there. But if you keep taking steps, it may not all happen in one day, but every day you take a step, eventually you will get there. Understand that this too shall pass. So be encouraged. Keep your head up, stick your chest out, and keep persisting until you succeed. If nobody else tells you that they love you today, remember your brother from another mother, D1 Gibson, has nothing but love for each and every single one of you. As we wrap this thing up, the time of this recording, it is Thanksgiving week. I wish you and your entire family a wonderful, joyful, and exciting and extraordinary holiday week. Spend time with those that you love. Be grateful for the life that you've been blessed with. Really take time to recognize the blessings that you're surrounded by. Immerse yourself in the emotions that are associated with the things that you love. Have a safe holiday. Until then, family, we'll be back at it next Monday. That's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But in the meantime, my call to action for each and every single one of you is for you to be effective, be successful, live with some passion, and most importantly, 3 pounds to your chest. 1, 2, 3. I want you to be powerful. I'm your brother, D1 Gibson, a.k.a. David Gibson, checking out. Have a phenomenal Monday and an extraordinary week. Peace.